is the SN2 mechanism you have already come across in previous lecture last week. So just going through very quickly why it is called SN2. SN stands for substitution nucleophilic on aliphatic system, and 2 stands for its order of reaction because it is second order. So second order, first order with respect to substrate, first order with respect to nucleophile. Only two reactants we are using in this substitution reaction. One is nucleophile, other is the substrate, aliphatic substrate. So it is first order with respect to both, which indicate that in rate determining step, both of them are involved. And the reactions presents that the SN2 reaction are concerted. So it completes in a single step. It doesn't involve the generation of an intermediate. So it involves the formation of a transition state. So it means it completes in a single step. Whenever any reaction completes in a single step, this is called following a concerted mechanism. So it always involves the formation of a transition state. We have highlighted this transition state here. But you have seen the difference. If rather a carbon, we are having here silicon or tin, which belongs to same carbon family. So the chemistry is entirely different. This, if it is tin or silicon, then it reacts with first nucleophile, generates a pentavalent system. But here we are not getting pentavalent system. Just look at X and Y. They are positioned opposite. X and Y are positioned opposite. But here this is a half bond, half bond. Here there is a full bond, full bond. Here we have overall 4 bonds. Overall 1, 2, 3, half bond, overall 4 bonds. But here if you count, there are 5 bonds. So if it make 5 bonds here, carbon cannot have, this is a violation of octet rule. So carbon belongs to, it has electron, valence electron in second shell, which doesn't involve d orbital. But in case of silicon and tin, both of them are having d orbital involved. It belongs to third group, period, and tin belongs to fourth period. Both of them have d orbital involved, although it is empty, but it is present in the third shell and fourth shell. So what happens? These electrons supported by a nucleophile accommodates in d orbital. That's why it forms a pentavalent structure, pentavalency, where this tin or silicon carries a negative charge. What happens next? So first nucleophile adds, in next step leaving group leaves, results in this product. You see this product and this product stereochemically both are same. They proceed via inversion in configuration that we commonly call Walden inversion. Both are involving same stereochemical outcome, but mechanism is not same. The second, this is following in 2 steps. First is slow, second is fast, and involve the formation of an intermediate. This is not a transition state. This is a major difference between the 2 systems. If it is a substitution taking place on carbon, it shall follow a transition state, concerted mechanism. But if it is a silicon or tin, this is the atom where substitution is taking place, then it shall not follow concerted mechanism, transition state. It shall follow a intermediate formation. So it shall be, now you see, it is also SN2. It is also having a same kinetics. You look at here. It is first order with respect to substrate, first order with respect to nucleophile. Nucleophile is involved in the first step as well. So slow rated step, reagent is also involved. So it has first order with respect to substrate, first order with respect to nucleophile, have same kinetic data. So kinetic data of both of them are same. And similarly, if you look at the polarimetric data or stereochemical data, that is also same. Both are giving you the same type of product, opposite involving inversion in configuration. So stereochemically it is same product, and kinetically it is same, but one difference only. The this step, carbon chemistry substitution at carbon, involves concerted mechanism, single step, whereas silicon and tin involve two steps, generates an intermediate. This is the intermediate, although it is not highly stable, but it has certain life. This transition state has zero life. It is something that we call hypothetical. This is the difference between the two reactions. It is second order, it is also second order, but we doesn't call this SN2. It is not an SN2 reaction. It is following this mechanism. We doesn't name this, but it is not SN2. SN2 is always conserved. It is not conserved in mechanism. So this is a difference that you should remember. In carbon and its other congeners have entirely different chemistry. So tin, silicon, germanium, etc. They have a different chemistry to this type of the system. So anyhow, let's proceed further. That you have already come across. I have provided this. What means by retention or inversion? So same substrate we have taken, when it is reacted with potassium metal, we get a alkoxide ion here, and when we react this with ethyl, it generates this. In this case, you see the sequence of benzyl, same position, methyl, same position, hydrogen, same position, oxygen, same position. But even if one group is changed, but three other are in same position, this is what we commonly call retention in configuration. So in this sequence, retention has been taken place. But look at the second. What is happening? In this case, we have converted this oxygen into tosyl. It is reacted with tosyl chloride to form tosyl group. We shall see today in this course what this TS stands for. This is tosyl chloride. So anyhow, in this case, again, we are having same sequence, no change. This is involving a retention in configuration. But next step is very important. What is happening? We are reacting this with ethanol in the presence of potassium carbonate as a base, which picks up slowly a proton from here to generate ethoxide ion. Ethoxide ion is a nucleophile, which shall approach opposite to tosyl. Now you see here we have got the inversion in configuration. This benzyl group and hydrogen, they are at same position, but two other groups are inverted. Methyl from here moved to there, and this leaving group replaced by nucleophile opposite side. This is what is called inversion in configuration, or also called Walden inversion. So, but one is important, that in first step, you see there is no change in optical sign. When we are moving from here to there is no change. It doesn't mean that sign changes with the change in configuration. No, not at all. This is I already presented, that optical sign have no contribution with the configuration. So, but these two, if you look at these two entities, these two are mirror image of each. If these two are mirror image, mean they are enantiomers. If they are enantiomer, it is true. Enantiomers always have, if they are, we are having the same concentration of these solutions, then their optical values are totally opposite. They have same magnitude, but they have opposite sign. This is if levorotatory, this is dextrorotatory. So this is the only relationship that we observe, that two enantiomer always have opposite optical sign, but their magnitude is same if they are concentration of the solution is same. All right. So this is the only relationship that we can find out. This is what we call inversion in configuration. So similarly, you have also come across this experiment, which is very famous, and claiming that SN2 reactions are always intermolecular. It is, sorry, M is missing in intermolecular. So this is the intermolecular reactions. So intermolecular how it has been proved with the isotopic level carbon. If it is intramolecular, then it can be substituted here. So we shall get a methyl at this position, but we always get an ethyl here, which indicate that it is not reacting with this entity, it is reacting with this substance. So this is what is being proved with these experiments. So this is what you have already come across about SN1 mechanism, sorry, SN2. And this is the same chemistry that I have presented in the previous slide. If we have a silicon at this position, it is going to react with a nucleophile first. Leaving group and nucleophile both are present, forming a pentavalency. And then in next step, which is a phosphated step, this Y leaves with electron pair generating this entity that we commonly refer as that this is a involving inversion in configuration as well. Same kinetic data, same stereochemical data, but involve different mechanisms. So this is not called SN2 indica. This is what I am going to show you. Just an application how we do it. If you remember, if we have this type of, you have seen this in aldol reaction already. So anyhow, just going very quickly, this ketone is in tartomeric form with this enol. This enol, this methyl may be this side, it may be other side. Now this methyl is in this position, so this is called cis enol. And if this is present on the other side, that is a anti-ion. So this is a cis enolate or a trans enolate or E and Z enolate, that the term we normally use, E or Z enolate. So finally, when we react this with a base, I missed a base here, so you can write any base. It picks up this proton from here, resulting in the generation of this enolate. Now this enolate can be a E enolate, can be a Z enolate, and its equilibrium, if you see other resonance form, you are having a negative charge at this position. But if we are reacting this with a soft center, this carbon reacts. If we are going to react this with a hard center, then this oxygen which reacts. Let's say we react this with a carbonyl carbon, if you remember, on this carbon always react. This oxygen donates electron pair here, and this carbon always react as a carbon nucleophile. Now this is a soft center. Carbonyl carbon is a soft center. But when we are doing the opposite reaction, let's say we are not adding this to carbonyl carbon, we are reacting with the trialkyl silyl chloride. Now this trialkyl silyl chloride is a reactive species. So in this case, silicon is harder. It is not softer. So oxygen having a negative charge, this resonance form of enolate is reacting. How it shall react? Very similarly. So we have silicon attached with 3 alkyl group, R1, R2, R3, they are same. So silicon is bonded with Cl. Already we have a XCCl. This is Cl. We are reacting with this carbon nucleophile. So this enolate. So this enolate oxygen shall react with it. So this Y is where this oxygen is making a bond with it. So it is this reaction is following this mechanism. This mechanism. So we shall get a silicon bonded with this oxygen enolate as well as with Cl first. Then this Cl shall leave with the electron pair and we shall get this which is presented here. So silicon bonded with alkyl group and X is replaced by this. And in next reaction, anytime we need to remove this to convert this entity back into this one. So what we can do is very simple. We can react this with a tetra N-butyl ammonium fluoride. Fluoride is the source. In fact, silicon has a very high affinity with halogen, especially fluoridines. Whenever we react it with fluoridine, very similar, this fluoridine, just like the fluoridine, this silicon bonded with 3 alkyl and 1 is oxygen. So it is bonded with fluoride. Now this fluoride shall is a very strong bond with silicon. This X shall leave. So this oxygen shall leave, resulting in the formation of this enolate. It can be reacted with any electrophile to make a carbon-carbon bond. No electrophile shall add to this carbon, not to oxygen. This is the difference I am interested to present, that silicon chemistry, tin chemistry is same, but different from carbon chemistry. This is the entire purpose of explaining you the difference between the carbon chemistry to silicon and tin chemistry, in fact. Now I shall prefer to proceed further to other type of mechanism which we call SN1 mechanism. So SN1 mechanism is very simply presented in this slide. The look at the purpose, or the if I present this substrate, if let's say we have only one alkyl, the R2 is hydrogen, then it is called primary carbon. Primary carbon always 100%ly undergo Waldler inversion. 100%ly undergo Waldler inversion. But if we have secondary amine, secondary carbon, we have two alkyl groups, one hydrogen is attached. This is a secondary carbon. So secondary carbon depends upon various factors. So we cannot conclude it is 100%ly going via Waldler inversion. Both SN1 and SN2 competes, because it also depends upon the alkyl group, what is their nature. So this we shall discuss later after finishing SN1, SN2 and SNI. Then we shall discuss the factors. In that you shall see, for secondary carbon we cannot conclude. It may be mixed type, it may be following the SN1, it may be following SN2, it may be following both of them. All right. So we shall discuss secondary carbon later, but if it is a primary carbon, R2 is also hydrogen, then it shall proceed via, in fact, 100% Waldler inversion if it is a primary carbon. But if it is a tertiary carbon, just like this I have presented, R1, R2 and R3, none of them is hydrogen. This is called tertiary carbon. So if we have a tertiary carbon, it shall always undergo this mechanism. Tertiary carbon cannot proceed SN2. Why? Because if it is proceeding, then there are three alkyl groups present on the carbon where leaving group is present. So this carbon is sterically very crowded, like this one. Three alkyl groups are there, so nucleophile is unable to approach here. We shall find a lot of steric hindrance by these three alkyl groups. That's why what tertiary substrate prefer, or SN1 mechanism prefer, SN1 prefer that this carbon X bond cleaves first. This bond cleaves and results in the formation of a positive charge on this carbon. It is already bonded with three carbon. If you remember, this is a tertiary carbocation. This is a carbocation, but what type of carbocation? This is a tertiary carbocation. And tertiary carbocation you have come across are very stable enough. So this system is very stable. So it generates something which is relatively stable. Now look at here, this pi orbital which is present here, unhybridized. So it has two sides. A nucleophile can approach from this side, a nucleophile can approach from the electronic density is 0 in the center, and it is maximum at these places. So what shall happen? Nucleophile shall approach from this direction, or it shall approach from this direction. So since there are equal opportunities, if nucleophile approach from this direction, it shall result this isomer. If it approach from this side, it shall result this isomer. So these are the two isomer 1 and 2 I have presented. One shall be formed if it is approaching from this side. Two shall be formed if nucleophile is approaching this side. So two isomers are forming. Now you see they are mirror image. R2 mirror image, R1, R3, Y and Y, they are mirror image. If I place a mirror in the side, these two are looking mirror image of it. It means they are enantiomers. If they are enantiomer, 1 and 2 are forming 50%, 50%. So if they are formed equally, so this is called racemic entity. So this is called this process is called racemization. So SN1 stereochemically produces racemization. So this is a very important concept to remember, that whenever we are doing this, it causes racemization. SN1 reaction stereochemically causes racemization, but SN2 causes what? Walden inversion or inversion in configuration. This is what we normally observe in SN2. So SN2 stereochemically undergo Walden inversion, whereas SN1 and reaction always undergo racemization. So this is the difference between SN2 and SN1. Second difference, look at SN2, you have seen is a concerted mechanism, but SN1 is not concerted because it is completing in two steps. The generation of carbocation is slowly, and next reaction is for, because nucleophile is normally negatively charged and this carbocation is positively charged. So there are electrostatic forces of attraction between these two reactants, the intermediate and the nucleophile. So they are having a strong electrostatic forces of attraction. So that's why they shall react very fastly with each other and resulting in the formation of product number A1 and 2, which are the enantiomers of each mirror image. So this is what we call stereochemically racemization. And so first step is slow rated, second is fast involving a intermediate. This is very similar if you should see the previous reaction with silicon or tin. So anyhow, this is one of the reaction that is very important to focus to understand the mechanism. So if we calculate the rate of reaction dx by dt, so it is equal to k into substrate. It is first order with respect to substrate, and it is zero order with respect to nucleophile. Why? Because nucleophile is participating in second step. It is not involved in the first step, and first step have slow rated step. It has slow kinetics, and if you remember that the reaction always depend upon slowest rated step. So this is a slow rated. So it has only one reactant involved. So it is first order with respect to substrate and zero order kinetics it show with respect to nucleophile. Nucleophile, if its concentration we increase, it doesn't be effective. Reaction rate doesn't change at all, even we are increasing the concentration of the nucleophile. So this is very important to understand that these reactions are in fact proceeding via two steps. First step is slow rated, involving only substrate but no nucleophile. So that's why it is first order with respect to substrate and zero order with respect to reagent. So that's why overall order of reaction is fast. So in SN1, 1 stands for unimolecular. In SN2, 2 stands for bimolecular. So this is showing the kinetics of the reaction. So SN1 is a stepwise mechanism, involves only uh, substrate but no nucleophile in slowest rated step. In SN2, both of them are involved because there is a single step mechanism. But for silicon and tin, it doesn't apply. SN2 doesn't apply. So this is the major difference between SN2 and SNY. I have make a contrast in three ways. First, kinetically they are different. In SN2, we are getting first order with respect to substrate, first order with respect to nucleophile. But here it is first order with respect to substrate and zero order with respect to nucleophile. Second difference we have seen, this SN2 involves the formation of a transition state. But here in SN1, we get a formation of a intermediate. This is the difference. Thirdly, stereochemically, it generates two enantiomer in equal ratio, which is commonly called stereochemically, this terminology we call this racemization. Whereas always proceed with inversion in configuration that we also refer, we also call this Walden inversion. So these are the two major changes, which are three major changes, or you can say differences between SN2 and SN1. So do not forget that SN1 involves the generation of a carbocation, and normally this carbocation is tertiary carbocation, but not always. It may be secondary, because if it is a secondary carbon, let's say R3 is hydrogen, it may also undergo SN1 mechanism. SN1 and SN2 may be competing. You shall see that later. Just I am going to let you know that secondary carbon may also follow SN1 mechanism, but it shall not be 100% SN1. It may be competing with SN2 as well. So this is the diagrammatically I have presented that this is the carbocation, tertiary carbocation, in which this bond is along the board or this presentation, this screen. R2 is above the plane, R3 is behind the plane, and this orbital is also along the plane. So nucleophile have two possibilities. Here the electronic density is maximum, here electronic density is maximum, so that's why nucleophile shall approach here or there. You see the angle between the two nucleophile approaching is 180 opposite. So that's why two opposite enantiomers shall be generated. This is the model I have presented, which is presented here, just to elaborate in this case. Second, sometimes these carbocations are stabilized by two different modes. If it is conjugated with a pi electronic systems, so it shall be having a resonance stabilization. The resonance stabilization is always a good stabilization, rather hyperconjugation. If let's say there is no pi orbital involved here, there is no pi bond form in this case. So in that case, we shall have only hyperconjugation. This positive charge shall be stabilized by hyperconjugation forms. So hyperconjugation gives you less stability, resonance gives you more stability. Let's say if this is R1, R2, I have presented both of them are methyl. In all cases, these are fixed. In all cases, these are fixed. All right. So let's see one of them, if it is an aromatic system. Now you can see this positive charge shall be stabilized by this pi electronic density, this electronic density, this. It shall have 5 or 6 resonance forms. So if you have 5 to 6 resonance forms, this positive charge is very stabilized. So it has the highest stability. But if we have a olefinic carbon attached, mean alkene is attached or an alkyne is attached, it shall also have a resonance. So it shall have only two resonance forms, less resonance energy, less stabilization. So both of these first two ions are stabilized by resonance, but it has only two resonance forms. It has 5 resonance forms. This is a major difference. That's why we can say this ion is more stable as compared with this ion. Now look at here. When all these three are methyls, now there is no resonance stabilization, but it shall have hyperconjugation form. Let's say one of the three hydrogens are here. If one hydrogen leaves without electron pair, generate a double bond here, H positive ion shall be there. So three hydrogen ions are here. So three hyperconjugation forms are possible. Three are possible with it. Three are possible with it. 9 hyperconjugation forms are possible. Whereas if I replace one of this methyl by hydrogen, let's say this is a secondary carbon, not a tertiary carbon, then 3 and 3, 6 hyperconjugation formed. If I replace R2 and R3 by hydrogen, means this is a primary carbon, so it shall be very unstable because it shall have only 3 hyperconjugation. And methyl cation shall be least stable. So this is the reason primary carbon doesn't undergo SN1, they undergo SN2 because they doesn't have an issue of steric hindrance. These ions have high steric hindrance in this form. So that's why it follows this mechanism because its carbocation is stable. Tertiary carbocation is relatively stable but not highly stable. But if some such type of groups are attached, it shall be highly stable as well. So this is the reason why tertiary substrate always undergo SN1 mechanism, primary substrate always go SN2 mechanism, and secondary substrate shall undergo mixed type. It may undergo SN1 as well as SN2. Right. So proceeding further, let's say when we are having here our terminology, you would have come across classical carbocation and non-classical carbocation. This is a very important terminology, which is very important to clear at this stage because you are using these terminologies later. So you have come across carbocation. One old terminology is used called carbonium ion. Keeping in mind carbonium ion terminology doesn't exist at all. Because carbonium, whenever we say carbon and onium. So according to IUPAC nomenclature, when we are talking about onium, it means some entity is making a one bond higher than the normal. For example, if very simple example, if you have water, add acid to this, water molecule shall be protonated. So what you shall get? You shall get H3O and you write positive charge on oxygen. This is called oxonium ion. Oxonium derived from ox. Ox means oxygen. Oxonium means positive charge on oxygen. When it is making one bond higher than normal, oxygen make two bonds. If it is making three bonds, it shall carry positive charge. So this is what we mean. When oxygen is making three bonds, carrying a positive charge, and this is called oxonium ion. Let's say nitrogen, ammonia. If we react ammonia with H positive ion with any acid, it form ammonium ion and H4 plus ion. Why we call this ammonium? Because ammonia is protonated. Nitrogen is making four bonds, one higher than the normal. So that's why this is called ammonium, right? So ammonium ion is normally this terminology is used. In fact, IUPAC is ozonium. Aza for nitrogen, azonium. When nitrogen is making one bond higher than the normal, mean making four bond with positive charge, it is called azonium. But normally this is called ammonium. So that's why relevant to NH4 plus this has been associated. If you have four alkyl groups attached with nitrogen, this is called azonium, but very rarely observed. So common name is normally used. So it is called ammonium. So ammonium is common name, but azonium is its IUPAC. Very similar if you have seen the mechanism of addition of halogens to olefins. Halogen add and generate three-membered ring, if you remember, and carries a positive charge. So halogens make one bond, but when they are making two bond, you see we call them bromonium ion, chloronium ion, iodonium ion, ending with onium. So whenever we are using this terminology onium, it means some atom is making one bond higher than the normal, one bond higher than the normal, and carrying a positive charge. So if we say carbonium ion, it means carbon is making one bond higher than the normal. It means it is making five bonds. But when we are talking about this carbonium ion, we show a positive charge on carbon making three bonds. So this is a contradiction. That's why carbonium ion doesn't exist in our chemistry, but in mass spectrometer, the carbonium ion does exist. Carbon making five bond, we shall see that in next semester in spectroscopic method, especially spectrometric methods, the mass spectrometry. We shall see in mass spectrometer, carbonium ion can be generated, but in laboratory, carbonium ion doesn't be generated. We cannot have a carbon bonded with five atoms and having a positive charge. भी काम कर रहे हैं। So this SN1 mechanism is entirely different to SN2, and keeping in mind we use the terminology carbocation, and similarly carbonium ion terminology is no longer being used, right? So this is very important to understand, but carbocations are of two types. One is called classical, other is called non-classical carbocation. What is a classical? Let's say I have presented here, this is a classical cation. If this cation is stabilized by a pi electronic density by resonance, this is called, hello, hello. माइक किसका ओपन है? Asma Rouge. Who is Asma Arouj? She's supposed to switch off her mic. Is she listening? So this is a carbocation. In fact, this carbocation has two possibilities. If the cation charge is stabilized by pi electronic density, not necessarily, maybe if there's a heteroatom present suppose here, so like oxygen, maybe nitrogen, maybe any other atom, if that is generating non-bonding electron. So ultimately we shall say if any stabilization is done by pi electronic density or by non-bonding electron pair density, so that is called classical carbocation, meaning it is stabilized by resonance. But if some carbocation is not stabilized by such entity, it is stabilized in a very different way. So that is called non-classical carbocation. Just like if I show you next slide. So just look at here. This ion, if we have a phenyl is here, methyl is here, hydrogen, and this X group lead generate this carbocation. This carbocation is stabilized by this pi electronic density, right? So if it is stabilized by this, so this is called a classical carbocation. Let's say rather phenyl, we have a methoxy group, let's say present here, OMe. So oxygen have a non-bonding electron pair, it is stabilizing to this positive charge on this carbon due to resonance. So there shall be also a classical carbocation. A resonance stabilized carbocation is normally called classical carbocation. So, but what is a non-classical carbocation? Non-classical is such ion which is not being stabilized by resonance, right? So this is the major difference. Now let's see, I am going to exemplify it. You are already familiar with classical carbocation. So the carbocation you are already familiar with undergoing stabilization by olefinic alkynic carbon system or by aromatic system. This is called classical carbocation. So what is a non-classical? Let's see, I am going to present a few examples from the literature. Let's see, we are having this bicyclic system. If you remember, this is very simple molecule. This is numbering starts from here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 2 bromo. Uh, Within the parentheses, you having 2, 2, 2. Uh, this is a bicyclic system, right? So this is a bicyclo 3, 3, sorry, 2, 2, 2. Bicyclo. So how many total carbon are there? 8. So octane. This is the structure, but this doesn't exist in this form. It exists in this form. I have presented in this is a board conformation, one board conformation, and this is, if you remember, this is called Flagstaff position. This is called Bowspot position. So the Bowspot position are linked up with each other. So this molecule exists in this form. This is the conformation I have presented. So what happens if this bromine leaves from here? What it shall generate? It shall generate a positive charge, right? So we have a hydrogen present here, and if this bromine leaves, so it shall have a positive charge. Now this positive charge is a secondary charge or secondary cation. Now let's see if sigma bond, this sigma bond transfers from here to this carbon. In fact, this carbon and this carbon is making this sigma bond. This is a sigma bond is being transferred from this carbon to that carbon. This is what we call. This is we call migration or molecular rearrangement. Anything which migrate from one to other is called migratory group. This is migratory origin and this is migratory terminus. That center where the migration starts and where it ends, that is migratory terminus. This is migratory terminus, this is migratory origin, and this is the group which is migrating from here. This is the migratory group, right? So this is the, if it transfer from this position to that position, so this is in fact called non-classical carbocation. You see, this carbocation is not stabilized by pi electronic density or non-bonding electron pair. A sigma bond is stabilizing this positive charge. Although it is generating a secondary carbocation, this secondary carbocation and this secondary carbocation have almost equal energy. But this is more stable. Why? Because it has a 6-member ring this side, 6-member ring other side. Here it has a 5-member ring on one side and a 7-member ring on the other side. So this is not that much stable. This is more stable, but it does generate this, right? So this is the one I have presented because it is not stabilized by pi electronic density of a aromatic system, olefinic system, alkyne system, or a non-bonding electron pair present on some heteroatom like oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, etc. So anyhow, this is a non-classical carbocation. Now see another example. Look at here. This is the same, but what difference is here and here? I have provided a phenyl ring at this position. I attach a phenyl ring at this position. This is the difference. Otherwise, there is no difference. You see, this substrate and this substrate is same. Difference is this phenyl ring. I have fused this system with a phenyl ring system. Now, if this bromine leaves with electron pair like this, generating a positive charge here, so it is undergoing SN1 mechanism. Look at here, this is a secondary carbon. It is not undergoing such type of substitution in fact. Now, if same migration starts from here to there, you see, it is generating a positive charge here. But now this positive charge is stabilized by resonance. Here, this carbocation was more stable than this one. So look at here. Now here this is not stable. This one is more stable because this is stabilized by resonance. But it is stabilized by resonance as a result of the sign because this is been isolated. This is been isolated when we react this molecule with, let's say, a good nucleophile shall instantly react with it. So it shall react this bond with this next to phenyl ring. Nucleophile shall bond. It is not going to bond at this position. If it is bonding here, it means it is SN2 reaction is going on. Or this is less stable, this is more stable right now. It was opposite in this case. But both of these are non-classical carbocation. This is a non-classical carbocation. This is a non-classical carbocation because this is being stabilized by a sigma electron pair. This is stabilized by a sigma electron pair, not by pi electron pair. These are called non-classical carbocation. So hopefully you are familiarizing the difference between a classical and a non-classical carbocation. Let's see, just to quote a few more examples in this case. We have a cyclopropane ring, three-membered ring bonded with this X. X is a good living group, maybe any. You shall see that in the factors affecting the reaction, these nucleophilic reactions. We shall see that later in next lecture. But if this X is leaving, X means good living group. If it leaves, it shall generate a positive charge here that I have presented here. What sort of carbocation? This is a primary carbocation. See, this is primary. Attached this carbon where positive charge is generated is attached to only one carbon. So this is the, in fact, the difference. Now what we can further perform in this case, this sigma bond is transferring to this carbon. You see this one or that one, which are identical. So both of these two are identical. The sigma bond is transferring to this carbon. When it is transferring to this, you see one ring is being extended. This carbon 1, 2, 3, 4. Positive charge shall be on this carbon, this one. You see three-membered ring is being converted into a four-membered ring. So here there is a more angle strain. You have come across in previous semester in organic chemistry course about Bayer strain theory. So more angle like this, more shall be the instability. More angle strain is in three-membered ring. Ideally, it should be sp3 hybridized. Ideal angle is tetrahedral angle, which is 109.47 degree. But you see, what is the practical angle here? The angle between these two carbon is 60 degree. If it is 60 degree versus 109, there is a huge difference. It is a 49.47 degree difference. It is straight. So this is a reason three-membered rings are unstable and this is more stable. One, this is primary carbocation. Second, this is secondary carbocation. Similarly, this is more strain, this is less strain. So this carbocation is much more stable than this primary carbocation. So that's why this cation is stabilized by sigma bond electron pair. So that's why this is also a non-classical carbocation. Now look at the other. Look at this substrate. This is the substrate that we call OTS. This oxygen bonded, this whole group is called tosyl. You shall see that in next lecture why it is called tosyl in product section. So this is a good living group. This electron pair transfers on this oxygen, and as a result, positive charge is generated at this position. If positive charge is generated at here, this is a secondary carbocation, right? Now look at here. If this sigma bond transfer if the sigma bond transfer from this position to that carbon, right? It is this bond is transferred here. You see, this carbon making a bond with this, not with this. So this carbon becomes positively charged. This is a secondary carbocation as well. So look at here. If this OTS is not present here, it is present on other carbon and the pi bond is here. So in this case, this OTS is leaving and this pi electronic density is transferring. So both of these are generating same cation. You see, this electron has been transferred from here to there, right? So if it is pi electrons are being transferred basically from here to there, so this is generating a double bond at this position, right? Positive charge here. Then again the positive charge shall be balanced with this to generate the same cation. So it is generating the same red non-classical carbocation either by this protocol or that protocol. Here sigma electrons are transferred here, although pi electrons are involved, but this is still called non-classical. In bicyclic or polycyclic system, it is called non-classical carbocation. Now let's see, I'm just going to present another example. This chlorine is present at this position. If it leaves, so we shall get a positive charge here. This positive charge is stabilized by this pi electronic tensor. Now, there are two possibilities. This carbon may be making a bond, which is a very long bond. This carbon may be making a bond with it. So I have presented these two bonds. If this carbon make a bond with it, we shall get a positive charge here. If this carbon make a bond, we shall get a positive charge there. But look at here, in all cases, if this bonds or that bond, we shall get a secondary carbocation. But if this Cl leaves here, positive charge shall be here, it is a tertiary carbocation. This ion shall be more stable as compared with this. So this is stabilized. This is also non-classical carbocation, which is less stable here, but this is more stable. So these are just to, I have tried to explain the difference between a classical and a non-classical carbocations. So you should be replacing, calling the carbon positively charged entities as a carbonium ion. Carbonium ion, keeping in mind, doesn't exist. It is the carbocation, not carbonium, right? So this is all about this lecture. So we shall focus on the third type of mechanism, SNI mechanism, which stands for substitution nucleophilic intramolecular. All right. So what I have suggested you the chapter in aliphatic substitution reaction in the Clayton's book. Just go through that. You shall find very interesting cases in that case. So before we meet tomorrow, so just read that suggested readings. I hope you have already studied, but you have studied SN2 reaction. Don't study the SN1 reactions as well. So afterwards, we shall focus on SNI mechanism. So if there are any questions, the session is open. If there is any questions.
Yes, sir, I have a question.
What is
Excuse
your
me, sir.
question?
सर ये जो आपने लास्ट रिएक्शन आपने बताया है प्लीज़ आप उसको रिपीट कर दें जिसमें आपने पाई इलेक्ट्रॉन की ट्रांसफरेंस बताई है तो साइल क्लोराइड वाला आप उसको दोबारा बता दें कि वो कौन से वाला है लाइक ये नॉन क्लासिकल है या क्लासिकल है
Which one?
सर इन द लास्ट स्लाइड you have just discussed right now.
Which one?
Yes, sir. In this one, the conversion of structure number 2 into 3, that is pi electron pair transference. So can you please tell me that this is classical or non-classical carbocations?
It involves pi electron transfer, but pi electron transfer, the pi orbital are not parallel to each other. You have seen already here when we are doing this pi orbital and this pi orbital, if they are parallel to each other, then they shall undergo sharing of pi electrons, right? Let's say this pi
Yes, sir.
orbital along the plane of this board, but as this phenyl ring is presented in this pi orbital is perpendicular here. So when two pi orbital are perpendicular, they shall not overlap. So this phenyl, if rotate 90 degree from here, then the pi orbital present here and this pi orbital shall be parallel to each other. Then they can show this pi electronic density, making a double bond there. So here pi orbital present on this conjugated system and this pi orbital present on this tertiary carbocation. These, if present in such a form, then they are going to stabilize the charge. But if you are comparing this bicyclic system, in bicyclic system, this pi orbital, or let's say pi orbital, if I present this pi orbital, and this positive charge here, they are not in same. No, they cannot rotate, if you remember, because this rotation is rigid. This pi orbital have no carbon-carbon free rotation, but in previous example, if you see here, this carbon and that carbon, they have a free rotation, single bond. So this
Yes.
phenyl ring can rotate in any direction to acquire the pi orbital of that parallel to this. This is only possible if it is in this form. This phenyl ring rotates 90 degree, then its pi orbital and this pi orbital shall be parallel to each other. Because pi bond is always formed by parallel overlap. So for this is what we call resonance stabilization. This is we call classical carbocation. But here, although pi electrons are involved, but it is no
Yes.
longer being pi orbital is not parallel to this plane. This is why we are calling this non-classical. It is not a parallel overlap because this carbon have no possibility of rotation. It is a rigid structure in fact.
यस सर.
Yeah,
एंड
that's
सर ये जो आपने लास्ट क्लोरीन के रिमूवल वाला जो रिएक्शन बताया ये भी प्लीज एक दफा बता दें. इसमें टर्शरी कार्बोकेटाइन कौन सा है और दूसरा कौन
exactly.
सा वाला है?
Let's say this carbon leaves from here. So this carbon which is present, it shall be straight. We shall have a pi orbital like this. Pi orbital shall be like this, right? And look at
यस
pi
सर.
orbital here. This pi orbital is alive. This one. This pi orbital is alive. This one. So
यस सर.
this pi orbital and this pi orbital, they are perpendicular to each other. But even then,
यस
if
सर.
they are stabilizing each other, this is we call non-classical.
ओके.